And pretty soon we'll be in the 55 and up community because you'll get us in there.
Most of those 55 plus communities have pickleball courts now.
Dude, they're awesome.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'll be there with 2 knee braces, my salampas.
Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome to Stay Podcast.
I know. We're so cute. Yes, Stay stands for Steph and Jay.
Get ready to embark on a soul-stirring adventure that'll leave you inspired, encouraged, and equipped to live a life of purpose and fulfillment.
Listen in as we share our love story with honest conversations about the differences in men and women, how we are way different now in our mid-40s and with each other, and how to elevate your mind,
relationships,
business adventures,
and those around you.
I love you, baby. Ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Hi, baby.
Hi, baby. Oh, man. We always laugh when we start
Episode 3.
Yeah.
With Romy.
Yeah. Romy's trying to join us, but I'm going to cut that out. So
okay.
He's good right there.
I just was noticing when you sat down, you get so comfortable, and I feel like like my legs are too short and my neck is really reaching, but now I'm very comfortable.
Yeah. You see, you have this like arm thing that you can we
can like kick our feet up.
Yeah, you can move it however you want for your comfort level.
Maybe you all can't see me in the video because I'm hiding a little bit.
No, you're in. You're definitely in.
And you look very nice.
Well, yeah, we were shooting a podcast.
Yeah,
so I show up in some nice clothes. Yeah.
And I came over here like I'm just normally coming over here. I'm like, I have my pajamas on. I got my but also it's a really nice outfit you have.
Thank you.
From your shoes all the way up.
100% yours.
Yeah, I bought
you bought me these sneakers, you bought me these jeans, and you bought me this hoodie.
Yeah, you got some good. Yeah. You got some good swag.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You got some
good
mighty
taste.
fine taste there, lady.
Okay, awesome. So, how do you feel in week 3?
Week 3 feels good. We just released the week 2 episode, and I was reviewing some of the analytics from week 1, and we're getting a really good response.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show it to you after the show.
Okay.
Yeah. We've even got some comments and some reviews.
Really?
Yeah.
Like real ones?
Like real ones. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Just 2, but
hey,
that's some, right?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of people that keep sharing, and just like so many people like reaching out, they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Yeah. Like you give so much hope, and we just love hearing your story, and you guys are literally perfect for each other and all the things. So that's good. That's awesome.
Good. Yeah, no, it's been an enjoyable experience. And now that we kind of have everything down to, a template and a science, it just makes it a lot easier and a lot, just stress free. So
yeah. And today we don't even have a tablet.
Today we don't have a tablet. We did talk earlier, though. We said, what are we going to talk about today? So now that's a perfect segue. So what are we going to talk about today?
So we're just going to talk about us and what we do.
Okay.
Because people are probably wondering, well, what do you guys do? Like maybe people might know what I do or what you do. I do love that like men and women are listening already.
Yeah.
I love how you said, hey, this isn't just for women. Like, women share it with your dudes and vice versa. And so we do have a lot of people listening and a big age range as well. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. So, all right, well, let me interview you then.
Okay.
So, what exactly is it that you do? Because there's various things that you're involved in. Mm-hmm. There's areas of expertise that you have, but they're not necessarily like your full-time job.
Yeah.
But you do make a living from that as well. So let's start from there. What exactly does Steph View do?
What would you say I do? Okay. So I do have a real job. I have a full-time job right now where I sell doors and windows with Renewal by Anderson.
Okay, great company.
It's a great company, literally the best in the industry. But also I was home for 10 years with AJ, and I made my way as an entrepreneur the way a lot of women do, which was Beachbody.
Okay.
Okay, so I did the 21-day fix 10 years ago, and then my coach kept telling me you should do this, and I'm like, I don't even know what this is. I have no idea what you're talking about. And then eventually one day I announced to the world I was going to be doing this thing. I was going to be a fitness coach. And so ever since then, I've made my way through just like different education, and I'm a really, really hardcore researcher. When I left Beachbody, I left because I had a lot of women with like adrenal fatigue and, over exercising, under eating. And so that really became my passion as I continued to learn more about just the holistic world. And with AJ, and when he was a baby, they said he had to be on Bactrim, which is, a medication for his kidneys until he was 2 years old. And as a new mom, I just kind of went along with that. And then I just deep dove heavy into like the alternative things. So I'm a holistic wellness and gut health specialist, and I help people get off of and stay off of medications. I sell digital courses online. I had lost a lot of income and am now getting it back, which has been amazing because I'm able to work a lot from home again, and that's what I like to do.
Good. Very good. So in 60 seconds or less, give us a tip that you would share from the window and door industry, from what you've learned.
Okay.
And give us a tip that you would like to share from the holistic gut health area of expertise.
Okay.
60 seconds or less.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure. Do you have a timer? Is there like a clock over here? So the window and door world, honestly, Renewal by Anderson is the best in the entire just nation, really, just because we have made every single kind of window there is, and we've perfected now a composite window. So every other company sells vinyl. There is only vinyl at the end of the day as plastic, and especially in these extreme temperatures, it will warp and crack and fade, and it will eventually fail. So we don't outsource anything. We make it, we sell it, we install it, we warranty it, we keep it, it stays with us forever and ever. And it truly is the best. It's going to stand the test of time, and not a bunch of like gimmicks to try to get you to buy. And we just really take care of our customers.
Good. And then how about with holistic health?
Okay, so I'll kind of say what I said in church. You want to stick with things that come from the ground or have a mother, so whole foods. It's a lie that you have to stay on medication for life, for like thyroid or, any of those things. And I guess the easiest way to explain it is like if you look at a third world country, they wear plants, they eat plants, and they live to be 110 years old without obesity and autoimmune and cancer and all of those things. And so like plants and mushrooms and all of these things were put on the earth to heal us besides what God already made our bodies to do. So we just live in a place where we are basically poisoned every day, and you need to open your eyes to that and just kind of seek out somebody that can help you find alternatives, because sick people stay sick. And when you get on these medications and have all these side effects and start to watch the commercials that tell you like suicidal thoughts, like those should be big red flag.
Absolutely. And for those of you who are wondering, when she said, like she mentioned at church, so Steph also serves in a ministry at church. You want to talk to us a little bit about that ministry?
Okay.
Our church, does some pretty cool things. And so this is one of the ministries that they just started. So what do you do there?
Okay, so I was asked to be on the Fit Church committee or team or whatever that looks like. So I basically am. It was awesome as, Pastor Tommy was introducing me. I was like, oh, he's like, she's like the collagen curator and the holistic everything. So I am just a part of a very small group of people. There's some nurses on there. Josh is one, your son, and then Pastor Christopher. And so we just are taking this entire year to dedicate to health. To really focus on different things, heart health, holistic health. We're doing a steps challenge right now. So I'm a part of that now too.
Yeah, which is pretty cool because, you don't hear a lot of churches focusing on stuff like that.
Yeah.
But obviously, the body is our temple, right? And the Holy Spirit lives in that temple.
Yeah.
So we, need to steward our bodies well.
Yeah.
Right. Just like, they say steward your finances well because, that's a blessing from God. Well, steward your body is, well, because it's a blessing from God. Your family, because it's a blessing from God. So I really like how, all of that's tied together. and you're able to share your expertise, especially from the holistic side of things. Because a lot of people are uneducated with that stuff, right? And especially like the church we go to, right? It's in an urban setting, in an urban community. And so not that people don't know, but they just never have been taught, right? So they want to know, or they think they know, right? A lot of times they think they know, and it's completely outside of, you know, what they've always been taught. And so I think that's incredibly important and awesome that you're a part of that.
Thanks.
I got a lot of comments from people that like, man, Steph really knows her stuff. You know? And I'm like, yeah, she does. That's my girl.
It's also really brought me back to that. Like, what is my purpose? It's to empower people, especially in their health. It's to be a voice for them. It's to be, you know, and I lost a little bit of that. And so like now that that's all coming back, like literally right now, you know what I mean? And then when I live in my purpose, like God just blesses me. Like it's unexplainable, except for it's not, because God, like it really, I just have so much joy back. You know, again, even 2 weeks ago when we were talking about it, when I was like, I can't wait. I wish you would have known me 2 years ago, you know, like a lot of that's coming back for me, and it's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, so. Good. Are there any other ministries that you're involved in?
Yes.
Oh, there are? What are they?
So we are on the entrepreneur ministry, which is awesome. We get to really help too. I've actually been mentoring a number of the ladies that are starting their businesses, really helping them with their social media and stuff like that. I just actually had a call with one of our pastors even today. It was incredible. And then just being more involved in the women's ministry. And now I've been asked to join First Impressions, which is the welcoming committee. So basically, that's what AJ calls it anyways.
Yeah, the welcoming committee.
He's like, oh, great. So whenever mom is on the welcoming committee, no one's even ever going to make it in the, you know, in the service.
And she's going to talk to them the whole time.
But I'm a welcomer, so it feels like a good place.
You have a very inviting and welcoming smile. I think you're perfect for that. So,
thanks.
It's a blessing to have you on the First Impressions team.
Yeah, and it's cool because, you know, I always like have served in church. As AJ was growing up, I was always, you know, like in the ministry with him, and where I kind of first thought that's where I would land again, just because I always have. I also wanted him to really like be able to shine on his own. And so he actually is he's a junior activator at our church. And then, you know, like Josh
and AJ actually, I mean, his job is the coolest, I think, out of all of us. Because he actually runs the slides in the booth for kids' church.
For the kids.
So that's pretty awesome.
And it's good for him if he's got a job to do. He does it well. He also helps like our friend Steady and, you know.
With the parking lot.
He'll do he'll wear the vest and do all of that. So that's awesome. And then Josh runs the young adults, which is amazing. So we're all just really planted there, and you know we just every day see the fruit of that.
And I think that that's important as a family. You know, it's not about like, oh, how many ministries can I be involved in? I know that like people, you know, kind of make jokes about like Jay's involved in every ministry. But it comes down to service. You know, I just want to be a servant leader. And if I have the capacity and bandwidth to do it, I want nothing back from it, right? So I think that it's important as a family for all of us to really have that posture, right? And we're teaching, you know, AJ at a young age and Josh at you know, at a young adult age that, you know, it's not really about what you do. It's why you're doing it. Right? And I think that, you know, we have really captured that. So as a family, it feels really good to know that we have a strength in serving. And we just, again, like we're building our table, like who's at our table. We have the most amazing people. You know, I guess like when I was growing up, I always knew I wanted to be in church again. Like my grandma was on the choir, my grandpa was the accountant, things like that. And even of all of the years of me serving in the children's ministry, maybe I just thought like I was never, not to say I was never important enough, but like I really didn't think I could have such a big impact. And so it's really awesome how you were saying, like, at first we were asked to kind of do things on our own, and now it's like we do things together, and, you know, but like we really, you know, to be trusted in a church like that. And also because it is like an urban church and it fills our soul, you know, it's nothing I really ever imagined. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's good. Hey, we have a little visit from Romy.
He loves his
mommy. He knows mom is gonna baby him. So very nice, very nice.
Weirdo.
All right. So what are some of your hobbies? So we talked about what you do for a living.
Okay.
We talked about how you serve at church.
Yeah.
What do you like to do outside of those things? What are the things that really drive and what are the things that fill Steph's cup?
Sweat and sun.
Okay.
And kisses.
Well, that's not a hobby.
Family.
But sweat and sun. Talk about that a little bit.
Sweat and sun. For sure. So because I'm back walking in my purpose, I'm back up at 5:15 in the morning to work out. Spin. I teach spin class. That's one of my biggest things that fill my cup. And it's just because I know that like in that room too, I change lives. You know, I push people out of their comfort zone. I have shared many things of my journey, like when I was in Virginia and now down here, I've been able to, you know, people are like, you have no idea, like you were placed in my life for a reason, you know, the ways that even that I talk in my class and stuff like that. I just understand my assignment. Like my assignment really is to empower people. And I feel really blessed that is my job. Like it's my job. So spin class, working out. I love working out with you.
Yeah.
There was the cutest couple in my gym this morning. Actually, she was like singing super loud and like kind of like jumping. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys have no idea. Like you're literally like us, because he was just giggling at her, you know, whatever. But I was like, you guys, like how awesome. Keep it up. How important, you know, it's such a part of our life. Like any chance we get, we're going to work out together.
Sure.
And you know, it's so important for us that we take care of our body, but like there's nobody else I'd rather work out with than you, you know? So I love that. And then just, I need sunshine as often. Like right now I'm like, I am super pasty. Like I don't even look like myself, you know, but when it's cloudy for a couple of days, it really wears on me. And so I like the sun and I like to sweat.
Good. Very good.
What else?
And pickleball.
Yeah, well, sweating there.
We just picked up pickleball, though. We play pickleball together. So that's how you know that we're officially
Floridians. Or
old Floridians.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't have it in me to play tennis, man. I don't.
No,
but,
I went to one lesson, threw my shoulder out.
Listen, pickleball's perfect. I can do that. Yeah.
Well, it was cute.
I love it. It's fun.
Yeah, when it first came up, you were like, what? You know, I was like, we either have to play golf or pickleball, because like.
Well, no, you kept pushing tennis. I'm going to sign us up for tennis lessons. Yes. Yeah, and I'm like, and I already know, like, tennis is intense, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I watch tennis on TV sometimes, and I'm tired from watching them. I'm like, man, like, they're hustling. So when you're like, we're going to play tennis, I'm like, that sounds like more work than fun.
Well, because it was like either tennis or golf, because we live in Florida and that's what people do.
Yep.
And you were like, no. And I was like, I'm not going to golf.
And don't get me wrong. I would love to try to golf. I just have tried it and I'm awful at it. You know, I don't even like going to Top Golf because I'm embarrassed. So, you know.
You did a good job at mini golf.
Yeah, well, that's different. I can do some mini golf. That's like pickleball. You know what I mean? It's like a fun little sport.
But pickleball is it. I love pickleball.
It.
Yeah. And at first, like I was beating you for a couple weeks and I knew it would turn around. So now you got the wrist down. And
well, you know, I mean, you had a little head start on me.
And you're a man. Like
you taught me well. No, I don't know. You just taught me well. I had a good teacher.
Okay, thank you. Well, you only really won one series so far.
Or two. That's definitely not true. You're now lying on our podcast, but it's okay. You know, we'll leave it at that. Yes, you're right.
I'm like, or two.
You know, as far as the working out together, the reason why I really enjoy it too is because like in real time, right, in front of us physically, we're helping each other.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like I know that what I'm doing is not only helping your confidence, but it's also going to help you to live longer.
Oh,
it's going to help you to be stronger.
It's a non-negotiable.
And vice versa, right? So that's why I like coming to your spin classes, because A, you know what you're doing, but B, I know that it's benefiting me physically, even though it kills me, you know, and I'm dead afterwards. And I always second guess myself the minute you start. Like, man, I could have stayed in. I could have slept in this morning. But, you know, when it's all said and done, when I sweated and I feel accomplished and I feel strong and I feel like I have energy because my heart rate is up and all of those things, I'm like, man, that's because of my girl. Aww. You know what I mean? Like, really, like a lot of times, like I walk away with this sense of just pride, you know, in saying that, you know, like it's just an honor to be with somebody that can bring that out in me.
Yeah.
Because I'm usually the pusher.
Yeah.
You know, so it really feels good for that to be more of a mutual thing where we can push each
Yeah.
other, right? Like when we work out at the gym, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And you're lifting and you're, trying to like, take it light or whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, let's throw some more weight on that push. And you're doing it,
Yeah.
right? Like you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't think I could.
And I get
bench
so
that heavy.
excited because you're
Yeah.
like, dang, baby, like
Yeah.
that's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm pretty strong.
Yeah.
Huh?
So,
Yeah.
we're making each other better. And I just love that because I think that's important to know that you're able to feed into your partner and
Yeah.
reciprocate that. It's not just
Yeah.
a one-way thing. It's definitely a two-way exchange there.
Yeah. Or like you see couples all the time where they go to different gyms
Yeah.
or, and it's
Yep.
weird to, well,
Yeah, it's
weird to me now.
Yeah.
Just because like,
I just be like, I think to myself, like they're missing out, man.
Yeah.
They are really missing out on an opportunity to connect with each other. They don't do date night and they don't do this and they don't do that. And they don't even work out together. Where like, okay, even if you went to the gym once a week for an hour,
Yeah.
consider that your date day for the week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
it
Like,
is ours. Like
Yeah.
pickleball sometimes is our date day.
It
or-
is.
Yeah.
It is. And I'm just, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but coming back from Warrior Week and just
Yeah.
hearing about, how to connect better with your families, they really do sprinkle some little tips like that.
Yeah.
Like look, if you're so busy that you don't have time to spend with your wife,
Mm-hmm.
then schedule a date to the gym.
Yeah.
Do something for your body, for her body, and with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And just it's the small things. I think that we tend to make stuff impossible, and I just
Yeah.
we make it impossible. We say it's impossible.
Right.
We never have time. We can't
Yeah.
do this. We can't do that. Sure, you can if you really wanted to. You could.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's for us.
Yeah.
We just don't do that. And I just think I'm like, we're in Florida, dude. Like we're going to be doing this stuff until we're 85 years
People
old.
pay a lot of money to come here, and we live here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like we're on vacation.
Yeah, yeah.
All the time. We're like,
Yeah.
we're like the sky down here. I know there's beautiful sky everywhere, but not
Yeah,
like,
it
it's
hits
just
different. Yeah.
It's different. The palm trees,
The beach,
yeah.
right,
And
right
pretty
down the
soon
road.
we'll be in the 55 and up community because you'll get us in there.
Most of those 55 plus communities have pickleball courts now.
Dude,
so
they're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait.
yeah, I'll be there with 2 knee braces, my salampas.
Yeah. It's like AJ will be 18 and then we get to move into the thing.
55 and older, yeah. It's
Good.
perfect
55
timing.
and older with our, can your 18-year-old stay? Because I don't know if we're going to let him go. But no, just kidding.
Yeah, well, he's probably going to run. So,
Yeah. Awesome.
Very good, very good. What else?
That's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. We worship is huge for us. I guess that's it. Like passions, worship, music, movement. I apparently dance to everything. Like I just, yeah.
Good.
Okay. Are you ready
For what?
for your interview?
Oh, you're interviewing me now.
Yeah.
Oh, Lordy.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
We
let's
both
go.
have a lot of things, which is, we did talk about that before.
Yeah.
Like we're both dreamers, and I don't think that all, usually there's like a dreamer of a family, but I feel like it doesn't really work because you don't really understand maybe.
Yeah, I think that there's some people that are just ready to, and this is the word that they use a lot of times, just kind of settle down, right?
Yeah.
But settling down doesn't necessarily mean to stop dreaming.
Right.
Right. Settling down doesn't necessarily mean to be less active. And so I think that, people kind of put themselves in that mindset, right? Like, well, my kids are grown, or, I'm in my 40s or whatever. And
Yeah.
so they're less active. And then you've got one person that might still have that fire inside, right? But then when it's expressed,
Yeah.
it's not really received. And not that it's shot down, but it's
Yeah.
not like, it's not super encouraged or anything, because the other person a lot of times just doesn't have that same fire, right? And so you can then tend to stop dreaming, and then you lose who you were, right? And you lose that drive. I've been there.
I was just gonna say,
I've been
like,
there.
I'm over here almost crying because, like, you with your music, I'll let you tell your stuff.
Sure.
But like I said it last week, I've really been able to see you like come back alive,
Yeah.
and I was still doing a lot of the things I loved, but just like kind of on my own, and like you just kind of stopped dreaming.
Yeah, I got into this thing. I mean, obviously, when I went into business, a lot of my
wait.
time. Yeah.
Okay, baby.
Yes.
What do you do?
Oh, what do I do? Okay. So, I do work as well for a company. staffing agency. I am the VP of business development there. The cool thing is that the owners of the company actually were my customers when I owned a CBD company several years ago, and that's how we started our relationship. The CBD company did very, very well, but we didn't know what we were doing, and we didn't set ourselves up to survive the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so, we inevitably had to shut down. But during that time, I think that's kind of where I lost a lot of my outside passions, because my passion.
And you kind of just went right over that too fast.
What do you mean?
You created a huge company.
Yeah, I did. But so it's just so far in the past now. That,
Okay.
Yeah, we were doing well. Well. It was myself, two business partners. They brought me in. They had a company that they sold other brands of CBD online, and then they wanted to go ahead and turn that into a wholesale business-to-business operation as well. So that's when they brought me in, and I was in charge of setting that whole thing up.
Yeah.
We went from just 3 of us, right, in the very beginning, to then a 32-person operation where we had 32 employees.
Yeah.
We were doing about between $3 and $4.5 million a year in revenue. In about a year and a half, it grew that quickly. And man, I was on a high, and I thought nothing else mattered, right? But that was a time too where I stopped doing music then, and I just was focused on that, and I think it was because I felt some significance, what I mean? I was like, man, like I had no idea that I had this entrepreneurial side of me. And then when the business kind of had to shut down, man, it took a lot out of me. Like it took all the steam out of me, and I felt very guilty for some mistakes that I had made. Felt very guilty for not doing a better job at solidifying the future of the company, right? And man, when you got to lay off, people by the dozens, right? That takes a lot out of you too, not lay off, just fire them.
Well, and a lot of people obviously had to do that during the pandemic.
And it just takes so much out of you, though. You have people that work for you for 5 years. You build a really good relationship with them. They were loyal. We had one employee in particular, Lisa, who she was hired early on, and then she kind of became the office manager. And even when we were unable to pay her how we were previously paying her, she still would come to work every single day. She worked every day until we closed those doors. She was the only one that was like, I'm staying no matter what. So when you have that level, and there was other employees that were that loyal, but obviously they just weren't in a position to be able to do that. So when you have that level of loyalty, there's a lot that weighs on you, man, and so I think that was tough for me to bounce back from. And so I looked for a job after that, and I became the national sales director for a sports uniform company, and it was cool. It was all right.
Which you were still working for until yesterday.
Yeah, and it was okay. I didn't love that job. In fact, I worked there for a couple of years, and I pretty much hated it, to be honest with you, just because I couldn't. It just wasn't me. I like to be a little bit
fulfilling.
more. I like to be a little bit, more creative and just have more say in things. And then I was able to get this position here. And this position is really cool because, JP, he allows me to grow and to build. And we had an incredible meeting yesterday. Where now I'm even getting, having more capacity and ability to kind of take off and do things. The way that I know how. So that's really like reinstating this confidence back in me to be able to do what I love to do again.
Well, because you're also brilliant in business.
Thank you.
No, you really are. I know I've been telling you that from the beginning, but writing a pitch deck, building a business, you'll tell all of that stuff too, but it's incredible to me when even you telling me the point of having a business is to sell it, and I was like, wait, what? You actually know business, but your greatest gift, and this is huge, your greatest gift is you, getting in front of people. And again, this is just your integrity and how you want to make a difference and make an impact, and the loyalty. And that's one thing we are trying to actually tell AJ, we're ride or die. You'll never know. He will know what that means because he has that, you know, that molding or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
like that's a true definition. And so people just, you know, they trust you, and, you know, it's cool to watch
Yeah.
you work around business and innovate and, you know.
Well, I think because of that, right, and because of, you know, you and I coming together, you also helped to reignite my fire for my music.
Yeah.
You know, it just so it was just the perfect storm, right? I go to Crossover Church, which is a creative church, right? Our
Yeah.
pastor is a former, you know, Christian, you know,
Yeah.
world-renowned Christian hip hop
Yeah.
artist. And then, you know, you just like, man, like you can really rap. Like, why don't you get back into it? And I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, and then obviously, I think God was using you to plant that seed
Yeah.
because, you know, then back in the summer, I started feeling really convicted to actually utilize my gift of rap for the Lord.
Yeah.
And that again reignited something in me, right?
Yeah.
Like it was like, you know, everything that made me who I was now brought back to my,
Yeah.
you know, right at the base of my life, and, you know, given to me again. It was almost as if God is saying, I trust you in handling this now.
Yeah.
You know, now you do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And it's been a really good ride. You know, I don't really like to like brag about it, so 'cause it's not the reason why I do it. But I will say that things with my music has been extremely fulfilling.
Yeah.
I truly enjoy it, and I think one of the things I'm enjoying the most is helping other artists. Right? Like,
yeah.
I really love these music reviews that I'm doing. You know,
Yeah.
not so much because of anything with me. It actually doesn't really do a whole lot for me.
Yeah.
But I just love helping other unsigned artists to
Yeah.
be known and to get seen, and you know, to hear some reviews of their music and where they can improve and where they're doing really good. And, you know, so like that's actually become one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, this podcast, right?
Yeah.
And then now Josh wants to do a podcast with me as well, right?
Yeah.
So like, you know, learning all of those new things, and just being super creative with it, right? Like being able to edit all the video and, you know, everything that you
I know.
see
I'm
here.
like, hello, like you're an awesome video,
Yeah.
you know, and I just love, even with the music, that was the thing. Like, you know, your Instagram grew super quickly because you were so excited about it and you really took the time to steward it. And I'm like, and, you know, like you make the best videos. Like people are going to stop. And then once they stop on the video, because the video is cool, they're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, who is this dude?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know. I think you deep down knew it, but like I did really have to kind of talk you into all that.
You did. So
I'm like, look, I promise you, like, you know, I don't just make stuff up. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to just like tell you something just, you know, to make you feel good. Like it's,
you know, and this is the stuff
very
I love to
talented.
do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I love this right here.
Yeah.
You know, even though it takes a lot of time and all that
Yeah.
stuff, I love it.
Yeah.
You know, I love making my music. I love shooting music videos. All of those things I love. And, you know, to the point where now, you know, I'm going to announce it, you know, us as a family, you, Josh, myself, and then one other person, we've decided now to make a Christian praise club, right? Which is a venue where you know,
This
once a month-
episode brought to you by
yeah, you'll be hearing that soon.
Yeah.
But once a month, you know, we're offering a venue for people 18 and older.
Yeah.
Right. No age limit.
Yeah.
But people 18 and
Bring
over
your
to
mama
come.
and them.
Yeah, to come and dance and rejoice and
Yeah.
you know, really enjoy music that is God honoring.
Yeah.
But then also to honor and worship God, right? We're gonna end every night with a worship service as well. So
Yeah.
I just think it's really cool that, you know, we were able to come together and do that as a family. I think that that's
Yeah.
something that's, you know, creating somewhat of a legacy. And we're, you know, we thought of doing that together. Like that's
Yeah.
something that from the jump, it wasn't like an afterthought, like, oh yeah, by the way, Steph, or oh yeah, by the way, Jay, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no.
It was a thing that we were like, Steph, Jay, and Josh,
Yeah.
you know, and then we got, you know, DJ Knock One in there as well. But I'm just super excited about that. It's really coming together well. Everybody is showing up, which is
Yeah.
super nice.
It's very easy. Like,
Yeah.
it's when we're honoring the Lord and like the things that, like I say this all the time in my class, I'm like, those things that you continue to think about, like
Yeah.
those are there for you. I'm not thinking those things.
Right.
Like that is a gift.
Yeah.
It's something that you should, you know, when people are like, I just don't know like what my purpose is. I'm like, well, you certainly have to have these thoughts that go
Yeah.
through your head.
And let me just piggyback on that. I'm sorry to cut you off, but as we go back to the scripture in Matthew, right? The Great Commission, right? Therefore, go and make disciples of the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, right?
Yeah.
That is our purpose.
Yeah. Our only purpose.
Right. You do that by utilizing your spiritual gifts.
Yes.
Well, holy cow. You know what I mean? We're creating a Christian praise club, which, hopefully will make disciples, right?
Yeah.
Keep people connected to the body of Christ. People who maybe were not believers or who are weak in their belief are also going to come to this, right? Hopefully they're touched by the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And so now, we have the gift of entrepreneurship. We are creative. Now we created this venue that involves all of those things, and we're utilizing it to help expand, the kingdom. And on top of all that, people don't even know this yet, but proceeds are also going back into the community. We're not even keeping any of the money, for us. So like this is just a way to continue to give to the kingdom and give to the community and make disciples by utilizing our gifts. So when you say it's been easy, well, that's why.
That's
right?
why. Yeah.
God's got his hand on this.
And some people might not they're like, wait, what? What's a praise club? So first thing earlier, well, I guess it was last year, my dream has always been to open a spin studio, and I teach worship spin classes, right? And it's very Holy Spirit filled. People might not know what that means if you've never experienced the Holy Spirit, but you probably actually have and just didn't realize. And so what was really cool is we have a couple of people on our worship team that are, came to my worship class and have said oh my gosh, it's crazy, but it's you. I always thought I was going to do something, but it's you. And our friend Connie, kept saying Steph, it's so much bigger than you think. And then I was like, what if the praise club is instead of the spin studio and because you and I, this is how amazing he is, ladies. You knew how much of a passion that was for me, or a dream or whatever. And so we actually got on a call last year with a franchise to open a studio, and it would have cost about $1 million for us to do that.
No exaggeration. $1 million.
Literally $1 million. And you were willing to do that. And, we had prayed and decided not to do it. However, now we're able to reach so many more people for free. Yeah. And then we're taking all of those proceeds. And so it was is this what Connie was saying? You know what I mean? So it's just, it's incredible. So a praise, so it's Christian hip hop. It's, KB, it's, whatever. It's somebody DJing. So it's like a club. Jay is very, very set on we're not going to call it a nightclub, but it is going to be at night on Fridays. Okay. And we're half hood, half holy. So it'll be, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be you're going to the club, except for no alcohol, no, you know what I'm saying? No profanity, just people coming together. It kind of reminds me a little bit of how people used to be oh, homeschooled kids are weird. And now we're you think homeschooled kids are weird? Kids are acting like they're cats now. So how weird is that? So it's kind of okay, a praise club was weird, but no, what's weird is people like us that were in the nightclub, forever. I think that's also why it's so huge for us. That was the life we lived before, and we know how dangerous that can be. And so now to be able to offer that to people of all ages, but specifically for us, I think in the beginning we thought it was going to be just young adults. Yeah. It was kind of our thought or vision.
But then we got there's so much interest from so many people.
All of our people are wait, can we come?
We can't restrict people from coming. So so 18 and older, man. I mean, 18 to death. Come on over. Yeah. So just follow us on our Instagram for more information on that if you're interested. You'll definitely see us posting about it. It kicks off on March 22nd. We're going to be doing it every other month or so, just in the beginning until we kind of get our feet wet with it and understand what we're doing. And it's just it's a fun thing, thing. And hopefully, Josh will take it over one day and, he can do it on his own, and future thoughts too with that, Christian comedy shows and stuff like that.
We have so many big plans already.
So stay tuned, and be on the lookout for those things. But those are some of the things that we're doing, and some
we
of the
have radio interviews coming up, and more podcast interviews, and again, it's just you have so much more to tell, but like when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, like meaning when you live out or take the steps to listen to those things that are constantly on your mind, on your heart, that you continue to hear over and over again, like it just comes along.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. Like taking the step. Sometimes it's scary,
It's
you know,
scary.
and it's funny because when we said that we were going to open the Praise Club, how many people were like, I've been wanting to do the same thing. All of a sudden, everybody's been like wanting to.
Yeah.
But here's what I've noticed. They have the fear of taking that step.
Yeah.
Right. They never put a team together. They didn't, you know, just go out and do it. You know,
Yeah.
just go out and do it. I mean, we're doing this, and when we say for free, right?
Yeah.
I had to pay a deposit to hold the venue,
Yeah.
but I get that back. You know, and the
We have the
pre-sale.
food truck coming,
Yeah.
and they're believers, so they're not charging. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? It's like a bunch of people just coming together that just like honestly want to see this happen.
Yeah, we have a whole team of volunteers that are helping. I mean, it's incredible. So,
Yeah.
you know, shout out to all the volunteers.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll just shout them out by name right
Yeah.
now because I think that they deserve it.
Yeah.
You know, aside from the founders, which is yourself, me, Josh, and DJ Knock One or Melvin, you know, we've got Brittany.
Yeah.
We have Tabby. Okay. We have Marcus.
Yep.
We have
Marcus.
Yep, Marcus. We have Lewis,
Lewis.
Tony,
Yeah.
and is that all of the volunteers right now? Oh, and shout out to Mike, Crossover Music. He's the one that did the flyers.
Oh,
for
the
us.
flyers are dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
and he did those, you know what I mean, so quick. So I mean, and then like just shout out to everybody else that's supporting and sharing.
Yeah.
You know, the volunteer team is gonna grow, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
once we get into a bigger venue. But yeah, just be on the lookout for that. That's something that's up and coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Good.
Okay. And then
Mm-hmm.
back to you. What else did you do last year?
Last year, I've done so much. So well, when I joined Crossover Church, I'm one of the membership class teachers. So the 3D growth track, I teach at least once a quarter. And for those of you who don't know, that's for anybody that is desiring to become a member of the church. They have
Yeah.
to go through a 3-week course, and I teach that course. It's one of my favorite things to do. I really love it a lot, actually.
It's because you're a good teacher.
Thank you. And then I was also
I was a really good student, wasn't I, in your class?
You were. You didn't
Interrupt.
You raised your hand. You didn't interrupt. Yeah. But this is your class now, so you're able to do what you want.
It was so funny because the first week, like I talked so much, and then last week you actually texted me and you were like, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I talked so much. I'm sorry." And I was like, "No, I was so proud of myself for not interrupting this time."
So yeah, Crossover College. So our church is partnered with Southeastern University.
Yeah.
And about a year ago, Pastor Tommy asked if I would take over as a Crossover College director. So that's also something that I'm now doing, which I really enjoy as well, working with the students.
Yeah. So tell them a little bit more about that. What is Crossover College?
Yeah. So what you do is if you sign up to go to Southeastern University, you'll either go to the university in person or
Yeah.
take your classes online. But when it's time for your practicum or, you know, in other words, your internship, you would do it at our church
Yeah.
site, right? And so some of the majors that people can major in are things like, you know, getting a bachelor's degree in worship arts ministries, right?
Yeah.
Or you know, Christian counseling services, you know, things like that. We also have a master's program and we have an associate's program. So those are the types of things that we offer, just to name a couple. And I love it because, you know, that's helping people to become the future,
Yeah.
you know, leaders, church leaders, you know, in our communities. And just even, and my job primarily is just to help them through their practicum, right? Help them get connected to the church and, you know, plant it in there and come up with a practicum plan for them. So it's not really like a super crazy responsibility. I do have to recruit
Yep.
students, but other than that, you know, it's pretty easy, and I love it as well.
Yeah.
Right? I love just being able.
You have
to
like
pour into them
families
and setting them up.
come
Yeah.
to see our church,
Yeah.
to see, you know what I'm saying? You're the
Yep.
point of contact. You make literal commercials.
Yeah, do I have to make a new one?
Like all of a sudden, like it'll be this super awesome commercial that they were playing during church, and then you hear Jay's voice, and everyone looks at me, and they're like, "What? Did he make this too?" That's why our guy Devon, like he's
Yeah.
always like, I mean, Jay, there's not a ministry he doesn't run, there's not a commercial he doesn't make. You know, we love Devon,
Yeah, our Devon.
Okay. Also, what else did you do last year?
started a clothing line.
Uh-huh.
Yep, called Blind Eye.
Yeah.
And basically, it's a Christian clothing line. I started that with my guy Doc. I didn't start it. He's the founder.
Yeah.
He started it back in 2012. And then I just I financially back him, and now we're working on that. That has actually kind of taken a slight side back seat, not for any other reason other than I'm just trying to get everything laid out. I think that we're gonna have a really big second half to 2024 with the clothing brand
and the collabs.
I've got some things going on with some pretty cool people, some bigger names. We got a better manufacturer now that's local, right? That's US based, which thank God. So Blind Eye is actually pretty cool. We got a lot of great responses, regarding our clothing as well.
And you got to present to KB.
I did.
Anybody that knows who KB is.
Yeah. So I was invited to a Shark Tank type of event at the Innovation Summit that our church put on, and we had to present a pitch deck, and we had to do it in 2 minutes or less.
Yes.
And so I presented the pitch deck for Blind Eye, and we actually won.
Yes.
And we got some pretty cool things as a result of winning. We got a $5,000 marketing deal and stuff like that. So it was a pretty awesome experience.
Yeah. And I was very calm.
You were
because you didn't
calm.
want me to be. I was like, I'm gonna be like showing hearts and so excited.
And I'm like, you have no idea how nervous I'm gonna be right now. I don't need to be seeing that out the corner of my
calm,
eye.
I promise. I was like, had to tie my hands down to the seat.
So for those of you who know Steph, and for those of you who do not know Steph, so Steph is the very opposite of me in high stress situations. She's loud. She wants to dance. She wants to blast the music. She wants to get hyped up and amped up. You know what I mean? And I'm quite the opposite.
Your hands are sweating talking about it.
Yeah, I want complete silence. I don't want anybody talking to me.
Yeah.
It's the difference between the dude that comes out for the boxing match with Lil Wayne rapping in front of him.
That's
and,
me.
And he's dancing and all this stuff. And then the other dude that comes out with nobody around him and just the look of death on his face and like laser focused.
Yeah.
Like, so we're complete opposites
so
there.
True.
Yeah. And sometimes she's trying to hype me up and I'm like, I don't need you to hype me up.
Job
You do.
Of being quiet.
Yeah. At first though, you thought, because we always think that people
receive how we
are. Yeah, you know what I mean? And so we are polar opposites to that. Like even when I, would play any sports, like I played semi-pro ball and stuff like that. And before a game, it was just laser focused. Like I wasn't talking to anybody. Yeah. So
I get like when it's like that, I actually get very, very quiet too. But if it's AJ or before a tournament or like I'm like the hype squad.
Yeah. And I'm
in
just
fact, so much so that you started believing or even making AJ believe that he didn't want me to cheer for him. And I was like, no, that's absolutely not true. He's just saying that because you're saying that. And you're like, no, I don't know. And I'm like, look, don't be reflecting your.
Well, he'll let you know when he gets older.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll let you know when he gets older how he really feels. Right now, I think he's 10. He loves it.
He loves it. Yeah.
Loudest
mom on the field. Yeah. By far.
Yeah. So that's just a thing or two. And then I'm now involved in something called Warrior Week.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. It's pretty intense. And it's an organization that is designed to help not men become better, but it helps you to learn how to be a good man. So basically, there's a lot of good men out there, but are we all good at being men?
Yeah.
And so we're learning, how to be good at being a man. And some people may kind of like chuckle at that or be like, what the heck does that mean?
Yeah.
Trust me. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more to being a man than what we think. And it comes on both sides of the spectrum. I mean, you can't see my knuckles now, but they're all torn up. So, things from physical and combat and knowing how to handle high stress situations so you could protect your family, to then also being gentle and nurturing and spending time and loving and listening and communicating with your family, right? Like those are all the things they bring together, and then Christ is at the center of all of that, right? So it's an incredible program, mainly designed for men entrepreneurs. The advertisements still say for married entrepreneur men, but it's pretty much for anybody. And the reason why they mostly do it for entrepreneurs is because the amount of time involved, right? Like you kind of can't do this if you don't own your time, right? But what I'm seeing is that even now, like I just came off of a meeting earlier today, the structure, right? The extreme structure. They even told us what to wear on our Zoom. You know what I mean?
Oh, on the Zoom?
Yeah,
too?
we had to come dressed a specific way to the Zoom.
Yeah.
You know? And so while some people might be like, that sounds awful. No, you see, when you growing up without any structure all your
It's
life.
kind of also like a Navy SEAL program,
Absolutely.
like what you just did.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, almost like military, like going to basic training, like,
Yeah.
but when you've had no structure all your life, and I realize that when they say that children crave structure, humans crave structure.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And the reason why I know that is because that structure is actually benefiting me now.
Yeah.
It's getting me. I mean, you saw my fridge. You've never seen my fridge with that much food in it. It's getting me like,
I was
really,
like, wow, babe.
yeah, really serious about even like my nutrition and my physical being, especially being out there last week.
Well, also I've been back in your ear because
You have been.
Yeah.
But here's
we didn't talk about that. Just kidding.
But here's why, because we didn't. Here's why, because last week, that intensity, I realized that I'm not in as good a shape as I maybe even look like I am. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really not. I was gassed, yo.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I got to do better. I got to do better. And so I'm like, Steph, I'm going to get back on your macro program. For those of y'all who want to lose weight, please talk to Steph, or not even lose weight, gain muscle, maintain, whatever. Steph has an incredible program, macro program. So get with her. It's super beneficial. And I need to take advantage of it more.
You get to do it for free.
Yeah, absolutely. My cardio, my workouts, all of that stuff. So everything is super, super structured. I'm now even getting up earlier in the mornings so that I can get all of my Bible studies and everything in, and to the gym all, so that I could get to, so like it really is starting to reshape, the way that I even live, in addition to pouring into my heart so that I can pour into your heart and into Josh's heart and into AJ's heart, as the leader of our family, right? So it's kind of like this all-encompassing thing. In addition, right, like part of the reading in the morning that we have to do as a unit with Warrior Week is we're all right now together reading the Gospel of John and then journaling about it. And then we have to share, our readings. So it's actually even getting us, for those men who aren't really accustomed to being in the Word regularly, it's even creating that habit and foundation for them too.
Which is important.
Yeah.
And I know I've talked about it on here, and maybe I will do a whole episode about that, but I say things like protective parts, or that's just the way you're protecting yourself, and whatever, and that's because I do a lot of work on that too, like healing. A lot of us obviously have all of these wounds, and we've learned how to communicate or not communicate or work with people in general and all of this stuff. And so what really also Warrior is doing, or has done, or did while you were gone for that whole week, is it allowed you to figure out and find some of those things maybe that were even hidden hurts. It's really important. And a lot of men are just, like, it's almost ingrained that, like, guys are strong. You don't like deal with that stuff, or you do shove it aside, or you do, whatever. And it's like ultimately hurt people, right? And so like when you're able to really get down to the root causes of things like that, it's so huge.
Yeah. Yeah. The 3 most dangerous words you could ever say to a young man are "suck it up." Because we're not designed to just suck it up. In fact, then you don't always suck it up, because it then somehow comes out, by way of behavior, right? By way of actions. And so what this allowed for me to do was understand what it was that I was suppressing, and then let it out, right? Let it out in an aggressive way, right? Nobody was harmed. Nobody was hurt.
Although you did win the fight, right?
So let it out in an aggressive way. Let it out by screaming, the things that we're told we can't do.
Yeah.
The things that we're told that we shouldn't do, or the things that we end up doing at the wrong time, when we boil over and explode and unleash on our wives or on our kids, or at, some stranger at a bar, or whatever it is. Right. And that was my life pretty much.
Yeah.
I love to fight, I'm not always the best fighter. So I took my lumps pretty well, But if I got a little bit of vodka in me, I was
I'll fight
looking.
anybody.
Yeah, I was looking for a fight. I would look at people twisted on purpose. You know, and I think that all of that was because I had to suck it up all my life, right?
Yeah.
And so now that I have these releases, right, and I'm not just crediting Warrior Week. I think Warrior Week's the icing on the cake for me, but.
You've been on this path for a really, really long time of healing and wanting to do well. And I'm going to just share this part. So one really awesome thing is I've had this very specific prayer, and now we can talk about it, I think. I continued to say, what is it about me that makes you want to be different? Or what is it, me specifically? And you would always be like, well, it's just God. And I think now is the timing and, whatever. And I wasn't going to be able to ever say this to you, but one of the first things they said to you before you even went to the week was, Jay, you got to stop hiding behind God.
Yeah.
And
that pissed me off too, by the way.
I know it did. And I was like, it was just something I continued to pray over, but I knew I could never say that to you.
Yeah.
Because you would have been like, we're done. Like, how could you even say that? You know how much I love Jesus, and you know how much I love Jesus too. But what it really was, yes, you wanted to do so well and so well and so well, but you also were afraid to let me love you all the way, and vice versa.
Yeah.
You were afraid to love me as much as you did, which is when we kind of shared in the first couple episodes, like you freaked out around the 6-month mark, like, you whatever. And I was able to see that.
Yeah.
But so moving closer, to moving forward in our life together and all of these things, it's just, again, it's God, like the timing. And you would have never been prepared to do Warrior Week if you hadn't already been doing years of work. And if we haven't have gone through everything we did, and even, Josh being very honest with you and me being very honest with you and stuff. So it's been so beautiful. And then, then when you were gone, so you got to do all of these amazing things, and I'll let you tell the rest of whatever you want to tell, but like now, and you were like, I'm sorry. I was like, please don't tell me you're sorry. Like this is like how God wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't have been ready for any of this before, or you wouldn't have went before, it's the perfect timing. But I was like, I knew.
Yeah.
You were afraid to let me fully love you, or vice versa. So it's why you kept being like, oh, it's God. And now you're like, oh my gosh, it's because,
Yeah.
So it's been really
cool.
cool.
And I think that, I had been lied to so much all my life, right? My dad leaving us when I was 10, and it turned out that he was having an affair with my mom's best friend. And so like, that's a lie, right? And then going to school every day, pretending like everything is okay. That's a lie, right? So like, you just condition yourself to lie. And so all my life, it's just lie after lie after lie. And those lies don't go away. They just compound, right? And then you just learn how to lie. And then you learn how to be content in your lies. And then your lies now become your realities, right? And so like, after all of that time, and then now I'm in my 40s, right? I had no idea what the truth of my reality was, because I had been on top of these lies for so long in my life, right? So when I clung to Christ, it was like, that's the only truth I know. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing I know without a shadow of a doubt in my life is true. So I clung on to that. I didn't even know that if I could be a good husband. Right, I was lying to myself about that with you. Like I'm gonna mess this up. Like I messed up. That's another lie, right? But I believe those things. I was believing them, right? Or you can tend to do the opposite. I'm gonna be so good, right? But you did no work to heal. Well, you're lying to yourself. So like Jesus and the Bible and God were the only things that I knew that I could tether to that were not a lie, and that had nothing to do with who I was, right? It had everything to do with who God was.
Yeah.
But if we're living in God's image, He made me.
Yeah,
right,
you're the most important thing.
Yeah, so I need to know who I am if I'm going to serve Him well.
And us.
And yeah, exactly. and you guys as
actually most importantly
family,
us.
Yeah,
that's your job here on earth
absolutely.
Is to.
Well, and if I'm not serving you well, I'm not serving Him well.
Right.
If I'm not loving you well, I'm not serving Him well. Like so like, but I didn't think that I was capable of loving you well, right? Those are the lies that I believed. And so, you know, can you imagine being kind of stuck in this space of limbo with who are you? How do you really feel? You know what I mean? What is in your heart? I didn't even know, you know, because one side I had all of these, you know, other habits from the past that were still kind of lingering there, but these desires to live better that were like in front of me, and I was still stuck in the middle there. And I didn't know if I was capable either, you know, to go either way. Right. And, you know, just to kind of land the plane on that explanation, Warrior Week stripped me down of all of that, right? It's a program designed to break you as a man. And I knew that going in. You remember I was saying, like, I was looking forward to be broken because I wanted to be so raw and bare. Like, I wanted a clean slate.
You were all, like, you were the only one that wasn't quite getting there yet. So kind of was like, I mean, I've done a lot of work. And maybe I'm not as messed up as these other guys. You know?
Yeah, and it turns out that, you know, I was just as messed up as everyone else.
Well, or you were the most protected leading up to that time.
Yeah. So the beautiful thing is that, you know, with now my foundation in Christ, with me, and the work isn't done. You know, 1 week is not going to do that for you, right? Which is why I'm in this continuation program now. But what it does is it strips you down so that you can now come before your family, yourself, and God as the person that God made you to be. You know, none of this other weight and these layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of protection. None of that stuff, right? It's gone. It's gone. When you got, you know, my group was only 9 guys, but when you got 9 men, you know, going through what it is we went through, and I'm not really going to share a whole lot because if anybody's listening to this and they want to go to Warrior Week, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to alert them to what they might face. But when you see, like, they even had us doing drills, like, okay, well, you know, and these guys are sharing some stuff they've never shared with their wives. Let's put it that way. And then, you know, the guy is like crying as he's sharing this and he's looking down in shame. And, you know, the coach would be like, all right, so who else feels that way? And everybody raises their hand. It lets you know, like, man, like,
you're not alone.
I'm not alone, you know? And so we really get to heal together and grow together. So yeah, it's a pretty incredible and powerful program.
And thank you for doing that.
Yes. Thank you for being understanding because it takes a lot of time.
Yeah. But one other thing that was really cool is, like, I could have never told you that, but also one thing that you used to say all of the time is like, oh, you could be a good man, but are you a godly man? A good man or are you a godly man? And that was another area, like, now where they're teaching you, like, yes, it's all about God. We know that. But, like, you're the gift God gave you. So it's actually you.
Are you, again, that's like they say, are you good at being a man?
Are you good at being a man?
And there's a lot of aspects.
Because you can know the Bible. You
and
can
still be a
reverse
crappy dude.
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's cool.
So, all right. Well,
is that it?
That's it. Yeah.
What else? There's so many more things, I feel like.
It's a good thing that we have a podcast and we can talk every week about more things.
More things. But is that all the things we're doing?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good summary.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Listen, just follow us on Instagram, you know, at the Jay Miranda, and it's Jay. So at the Jay Miranda. That's my Instagram, and Steph's is
at Steph _V as in Victor IEAU.
Yep. So Steph_View, VIEAU. So
that's how you say it, view.
You guys could definitely catch up with everything that we're doing. We urge you to follow us on our social media, and you'll get to learn a lot more about us that way because we are pretty open books.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right.
I love it. All right. Thank you, guys.
Talk to y'all next week.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. Do us a solid and share this episode and tag at the Jay Miranda and at Steph_View. Please also review us on whichever platform you're listening on so we can grow.
If you need our prayer, please reach out to us on Instagram. But ladies, don't be sliding into my man's DMs. And fellas, clearly I'm already taken.
Tune in next time.